Back when gardens were not optional, a vegetable had to earn its spot. It had to taste like something. It had to cook into a real meal. And it had to hold up when the day got busy and nobody had time to run out for one missing ingredient. A lot of people think those older gardens were all romance and sunshine. The truth is simpler. Families grew what worked, and the plants that worked were not always the prettiest. When supermarkets took over, the rules changed. Vegetables had to be smooth, shiny, and the same size, because they had to stack and travel. A lumpy root did not fit the box. A strange color scared buyers. A thick skin felt like too much work. So the shelves got cleaner, and our gardens got narrower. That is why so many old varieties faded from memory, not because they stopped being good, because they stopped being easy to sell. For 2026, we are doing a different kind of garden, not bigger, not harder, just smarter. We are mixing in forgotten vegetables that behave like a quiet pantry. They either keep producing, keep their texture longer, or turn into something you can keep without stress. That one shift changes how your garden feels. Here is one bold claim, said clearly one time. Many older home garden vegetables can feel more forgiving than the types bred mainly for store shelves. That does not mean they grow in bad dirt with no care. It means they were kept alive in everyday gardens where rain was uneven, heat waves happened, and life interrupted watering. Give them sun, decent drainage, and steady water, and they often stay useful even when conditions are not perfect. Now let's walk through 20 vegetables your grandparents grew, not as a checklist, but like we are opening an old seed tin together and remembering what each one was really for. The first thing you notice in an old garden is that tomatoes did not need to look like red billiard balls. Brandywine tomato is the perfect example. It can be huge, a bit wonky, sometimes more pink than red. But when you brush the leaves, the smell clings to your fingers. Slice the fruit and the juice runs, sweet and rich. The kind of taste that makes a plain sandwich feel like a real meal. A cucumber like straight 8 sits on the other side of that same truth. It became loved because it was dependable in the way families needed. It gives crisp slices that taste clean, not watery, and it does not need special treatment. When you cut one fresh, the scent is cool and green, like you just opened a window. Then you get to the onions, and that is where old kitchens quietly win. Red Weathersfield onion was grown because it carried flavor through long stretches of cooking. The skin is deep red to purple, and the bite has enough strength to wake up a pot of soup. It is the kind of onion that makes simple food taste finished. Walking onions feel like a small miracle, but it is really just a plant built to restart itself. Instead of normal flowers, it makes little bulbs at the top of the stalk. When they get heavy, they bend down and root nearby. In a pot by the kitchen door, it means you can snip onion greens for eggs, rice, soups, and you still have bulbs for the next round. Older gardens also made room for vegetables that turned into many meals, not just one. Snowball cauliflower is one of those. The head grows tight and pale, like a clean white bundle. It cooks mild and nutty. You can roast it until the edge is brown, mash it into something smooth, or chop it into a pot when you need dinner to stretch. Red Russian kale belongs in the same practical family, but it plays a different role. It is a green that handles cool days better than many soft lettuces. The leaves are flatter and easier to cook down, and the taste is gentle enough that it can slide into soups and pans without making everyone complain. Corn used to be grown for what it felt like at the table, not just for sugar. Golden Bantam corn tastes like corn, warm and creamy, not like candy. When you peel back the husk, the kernels look plump and real. It is the kind of crop that turns an evening into a small event, even if all you do is boil it and add butter. Rhubarb is not a shy plant. It comes back year after year with thick stalks like it owns the patch. It is tart, so it begs for sweet pairings, and that is why old kitchens loved it. A simmered rhubarb sauce smells sharp and fruity, and the steam fogs a window like the kitchen is telling you to slow down. Then there are the keepers, the ones built for a slower calendar. Blue Hubbard squash is heavy, thick-skinned, and serious. You do not grow it for a quick snack. You grow it so you can carry it inside, set it in a cool corner, and know you have meals waiting. When you finally cut it open, the flesh is sweet and dense, like it was made for soup pots and roasting pans. Parsnip is another old cold season favorite that people forget until they taste it again. It looks plain in the ground, but that is part of its charm. After a few cold nights, it turns sweeter, like the plant saved its best flavor for later. Roast parsnip sticks, and you get edges that brown and smell warm, almost like caramel, and the inside stays soft enough to mash into soups. If all of these sound like old food, that is the point. This style of garden was not meant to impress anyone. It was meant to make the next month easier. And here is the part most people miss. The reason these vegetables feel so steady is not just what you see above ground. It is what they are doing underneath and what they are planning for after harvest. That is what we are opening next. A pantry-style garden works because many of these vegetables were selected for what they can hold on to. Some pack food into a root so they can survive cold. Some grow thick skins so they can sit longer without collapsing. Some create dry pods or bulbs that wait quietly until you need them. It is not a secret. It is just an older kind of common sense. Celeriac shows that idea better than almost anything. It looks like a muddy knot, which is why stores dislike it. But the plant is not trying to be pretty. It is building a dense root. Peel it, and it smells like celery, clean and strong. Cook it, and it becomes smooth, like a mash that feels warm even before you taste it. Cylindra beet is an old kitchen helper. It grows long instead of round, and that makes slicing easier. When you cut it into neat rounds, you can pickle it without wasting odd ends. The color stains a cutting board like ink, and the smell turns earthy and sweet the moment it hits warm water. Dragon carrot reminds you how colorful old gardens could be without anyone needing a store. The outside can be deep purple, the inside bright orange. Roast it, and the purple darkens, the edges caramelize, and the flavor turns bold and slightly spicy. Put it raw in a salad, and it looks like you planned something special, even if you did not. Black Spanish radish looks almost like a lump of charcoal in your hand. That dark skin scares some people off. Inside it is white and crisp. Raw, it can have a sharp bite that clears your nose. Cooked, it calms down and turns mellow, the kind of vegetable you can fold into a pan with butter and salt. Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchokes, are another underground pantry. The plant is tall, like a sunflower, but the food is a cluster of knobbly tubers underground. Roast them, and they taste nutty and cozy, like a warm side dish you did not know you needed. This is the kind of crop where you can harvest a few and leave the rest right where they are, like storage built into the soil. Salsify is one of those vegetables that proves taste used to be the main goal. It grows as a long, pale root and looks plain. But cooked, it turns soft and gentle, and some people notice a faint sea-like note. It fits into soups and pans in a way that makes a meal feel thicker without you doing much. Scarlet runner beans bring in another kind of old wisdom. They feed you, and they help the garden at the same time. The vines climb high, the flowers are bright red, and bees love them. You can pick the pods young for tender beans, or let some dry for later meals. That fresh and later pattern is why people kept planting them year after year. Mammoth melting sugar peas were treasured because they made spring feel generous. The pods are big, flat, and sweet. You eat them whole, no shelling, no fuss. They were often the first crisp bite after months of heavy winter food, the kind of snack you eat standing in the garden before you even make it back to the kitchen. Perkins' long-pod okra is a reminder that heirloom does not always mean delicate. Okra loves heat. It keeps producing when cooler crops struggle. The timing is the key. Pick pods while they are still tender. When you bend one, it should snap clean. If it feels woody, it waited too long. Crenshaw melon carries the old garden joy factor. It is not just food, it is a reward. The rind is greenish yellow, and the inside is deep orange. When it is ripe, It starts to smell sweet before you even cut it. That smell is the best signal, and it turns a hot afternoon into a moment people remember. Here is the single habit that locks in the whole benefit. In an older garden, you never treated every plant like it had to be eaten immediately. You always let a few finish their full cycle. You let a few bean pods dry, you let a few onions fully cure, you let a few seeds mature so they are ready to save. That one habit is how families kept certain vegetables alive for decades without buying new packets every spring. And there is one caution that matters in a real home way. Sunchokes can cause gas for some people if they eat a big serving at once. That does not mean the crop is bad. It just means your body might need a smaller first portion. And with okra, texture changes fast, so picking on time matters more than any special fertilizer. Now we take all of this and turn it into a simple home method that works in beds and pots, without making your garden feel like a second job. Start by matching the plant to the space you actually have. Deep roots need depth. Climbers need something to climb. Curing crops need airflow at the end. When you set the space up right, you stop fighting the plant. If you have a small bed, give the deeper-rooted crops the looser section where water drains well. If you only have pots, choose deeper containers for roots like celeriac, cylindra beet, dragon carrot, black Spanish radish, salsify, and even onions. The container does not need to be fancy. It just needs enough depth that roots can grow straight and strong. For Brandywine tomatoes, support early and keep watering steady. The best tomatoes are not made by panic watering after the plant wilts. Keep the soil evenly moist. You will know it is close when the tomato smells sweet at the stem. When it gives slightly under gentle pressure, it is ready. If it is hard and has no scent, it is not done. Straight-ate cucumbers are about regular picking. When you harvest often, the plant keeps going. A ready cucumber feels firm, heavy for its size, and smells fresh when you scratch the skin lightly. If it starts yellowing on the vine, it is shifting towards seed making, and the flavor changes. For red Weathersfield onions, plan for the finish. Let the tops fall and start to dry. Pull them on a dry day if you can. Then cure them in a spot with airflow, like a covered porch or a dry corner indoors. When the outer skin feels papery and the neck is dry, store them cool and dry. That curing step is what gives you onions that do not turn soft too soon. Walking onions are simpler. Plant the bulbs, snip green tops as you need them, and let the top bulbs form. When they mature, you can replant them or use them like tiny onions. This plant is perfect for people who want steady kitchen flavor without fuss. Snowball cauliflower does best with steady moisture and a watchful eye at the end. Harvest when the head is tight and firm. If it starts loosening and spreading, it is moving past its best texture. Cut it clean, and if you want an easy weeknight trick, toss florets in a hot pan until they pick up golden spots, then salt them while they are still steaming. Red Russian kale is best when you pick the outer leaves and leave the center to keep growing. The leaves should feel flexible, not leathery. If you want it to taste softer, harvest in the morning when the leaves feel cool and plump, not late afternoon when they can feel a bit dry. Golden Bantam corn has a simple readiness test. When the silks turn brown and dry, peel back a small part of the husk and press a kernel with your fingernail. If the liquid is milky, it is ready. If it is watery, wait. If it is thick and pasty, it is late. That small check keeps you from guessing and ending up with bland ears. Rhubarb is a long-term plant, so do not strip it bare. Take a few thick stalks that snap clean and let the plant keep its strength. The smell when you cut it should feel sharp and fresh. If the stalks are thin and weak, give it time and do not push it. Blue Hubbard squash needs a mature skin before harvest. You want a rind that is hard enough that your fingernail does not easily scratch it. Cut with a bit of stem attached. Let it sit in a warm, dry place for a short time so the skin finishes toughening, then store it cool and dry. When you finally cook it, the flesh should feel dense and sweet, perfect for soups and roasts. Parsnips like a steady start, and a calm finish. If you rush them with uneven watering, they can split or turn stringy. When the shoulders are thick and the tops look strong, pull one as a test. The smell, when you scrub a parsnip under water, is clean and earthy, and the best ones feel heavy and solid, not bendy. Celeriac wants even water and patience. It is not fast. Keep weeds down so it does not fight for space. When the base feels like a firm ball and the smell is strong when you rub the skin, it is ready. Brush off soil and store it cool. If you want longer keeping, avoid washing until cooking day. Cylindra beets should feel firm and smooth at the shoulder when ready. If they get oversized, they can turn woody. Pull one as a test rather than guessing. If the inside slices clean and looks deep red, you are in a good window. Dragon carrots are ready when the shoulders look thick and the tops feel anchored, not loose. If you pull one and it is skinny, let the rest go longer. Roast them for sweetness, or slice them raw for color and crunch. Black Spanish radish is ready when it feels heavy in the soil and the shoulder starts to show above ground. Pull it before it turns spongy. Stored cool, it keeps its crisp bite longer than quick radishes. Jerusalem artichokes are easiest when you treat the soil like a storage drawer. Dig what you need and leave the rest in place if your ground does not freeze solid. If you must dig them all, keep them cool and slightly humid so they do not shrivel. Salsify is harvested when the plant starts slowing down and the root feels long and firm. Dig gently so you do not snap it. Cook it slowly and it turns soft and comforting. Scarlet runner beans need a trellis or fence, even a simple one. Pick pods young if you want tender beans. If you want dry beans, let some pods stay on until they turn dry and papery. When a pod cracks open easily and the beans inside feel hard, those beans are ready to keep. Mammoth melting sugar peas do best when they get support and cool weather. Pick pods while they still feel crisp. If they get thick and tough, let a few stay on to mature, then save the seed for next season. Perkins long pod okra is all about the snap test. Pick pods while they are still tender. If a pod bends without snapping, it is getting too mature. Regular picking keeps the plant producing. Crenshaw melon tells you it is ready through scent and feel. When it smells sweet near the stem, it is close. If it has no smell, it is not done. When you lift it and it feels heavy and alive in your hands like it is full of juice, you are right where you want to be. Now the storage routines, because this is what makes a pantry-style garden real. For roots like cylindra beet, dragon carrot, black Spanish radish, celeriac, salsify, parsnip, and even sunchokes, keep them cool and not dripping wet. Brush off dirt instead of washing if you want longer keeping. If you are using a fridge, the crisper drawer is your friend. A loose bag helps hold humidity without trapping slime. There is a small behavior that helps a lot, and it sounds almost too simple. When you bring roots inside, sort them right away. Anything with a nick, a crack, or a soft spot gets used first. The clean, firm ones get saved. That 1 minute of sorting prevents one bad vegetable from turning the whole batch sad. Drying and jarring is the old skill that still feels like magic. Let runner bean pods dry until they feel papery and the beans inside are hard. Store those beans in a clean jar with a tight lid. The same idea works for peas you let mature. When they are dry, they rattle, and that sound means they are ready to keep. Pickling is the easiest bridge between harvest and later meals. Cylindra beet slices pickle beautifully. Thin radish rounds can be pickled too. Extra cucumbers can become quick pickles. A clean jar and a simple brine can turn a harvest spike into something you snack on for days, and it makes the kitchen feel stocked even when you did not plan ahead. For onions, curing is the step that decides everything. Dry necks and papery skins are what keep rot away. Store them where air can move, not in a sealed wet bag. And here are the safety notes, plain and practical. Cook dry beans fully before eating. If sunchokes upset your stomach, eat a smaller portion next time instead of quitting the crop. With okra, Pick while pods are still tender so you do not end up with tough bites you do not enjoy. If you want your 2026 garden to feel like it has an older kind of strength again, pick a few of these forgotten vegetables and grow them with the idea that they should last, not rush. And if you want more calm, practical, older home garden methods like this, you can subscribe and keep learning the ones that still work.